Hey, JulesBlessedVegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. I've been in a nutty mood, my friends, and I've been looking up the benefits of different kinds of nuts. So the other day I did pistachio, which was amazing. Walnuts, wow. And today I'm doing Brazil nuts. I'm sure you're familiar. But the main reason I'm thinking of Brazil nuts is because I heard how beneficial it is for the thyroid. And if you look up in my search and indicate how I healed my thyroid, I have a really good video on that. I consider myself healed from hypothyroidism, but I always like to have a variety of ways to affect my thyroid. So basically, when I first got into plant-based vegan, I learned about the benefits of sea vegetables, if you will, which were things like algae, sea moss, in the form of dulse flakes. I mean, it just depended. I'm even using a nori wrap and just incorporating some algae into my diet seemingly helped with my thyroid. Over time, I was able to reduce my medication and then get completely off of my medication. So kind of a warning, or I don't know what I want to say, but definitely listen to the advice of your doctor if you take thyroid medication. Do not just stop that. I mean, it took me some time. I had to get my blood tested several times, probably over the first year, but luckily, off of my medication, I was able to maintain a healthy balance. The thyroid is between like 0.35 and like 4.12 or something like that. And mine was kind of hanging out. In the first year, it was more like 1.8 or something, which was enough, but seemed a little low. And then in time, it's built up to like 2.36. I mean, it's really steady and impressive, and I'm so grateful to not be taking levothyroxine, I think, and different medications. But that said, I heard that the Brazil nut is super helpful to the thyroid, I believe because of the selenium content. And so I definitely want to read this because I do like to switch up. So this is from healthline.com, one of my favorites, because if you're not a reader, it just gives a summary. And it always has a bottom line, which I love. Okay, so these are 7 proven health benefits of Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts are tree nuts native to the Amazon rainforest of Brazil, Bolivia, and Peru. Their smooth, buttery texture and nutty flavor are typically enjoyed raw, yes please, or blanched. These nuts are energy dense, highly nutritious, and one of the most concentrated dietary sources of the mineral selenium. Eating Brazil nuts may benefit your health in several ways, including regulating your thyroid, yes please, reducing inflammation, and supporting your heart, brain, and immune system. And here are 7 proven health and nutrition benefits of Brazil nuts. Let's do this, people. One moment, please. I will not proclaim a technical difficulty, but okay. I don't know if I did that right. I'm trying to save something on this article. I think we're good. All right. Number 1, they are packed with nutrients. Brazil nuts are very nutritious and energy dense. A 1 ounce or 28 gram serving of Brazil nuts contains 187 calories. Now that's significant. If you're doing 80-10-10, which is 80% carbs, yay God, 10% protein, 10% fat, you'll want to make sure that you modify that one way or the other, right? But for a 2,000 calorie diet and certainly an 1,870 calorie diet, that is exactly 10%, right? Well, this is when you're just doing an intentional fat, because what needs to be considered is that all fruit and vegetables have carbs, fat, and what's the other one, people? Carbs, fat, and protein automatically. So some argue that if you just eat a really good day of fruit and vegetables, you will get your fats between 5 and 8%. That's the rumor. So I guess like so many nuts, which immediately become nut butter, Brazil nuts are completely fat, like seriously. So the protein is 4.1 grams. And remember, calories for protein is only 4 calories, so that's just 16 calories. The carbs is 3, so that's more like 12. So maybe 30 calories are attributed to protein and carbs. but the fat content is 19, right? And we know that fats have 9 grams. So that's 90, and 9 times 9 is 81, and 90 and 81 is 171. Yeah, 171 of the 187 calories potentially. But if you're not calorie counting, who cares, right? And these are super healthy fats, and I'm going to explain that to you. It kind of seems like an irony to call fat healthy, but your body needs it, and it is healthy in the right plant-based form. So fiber is 2.1 grams. And then selenium, again, so phenomenal, 988% of the recommended daily intake. Copper is 55%, magnesium 33, phosphorus 30, manganese 17, zinc 10, thiamine 16, and vitamin E 11. Really impressive. Brazil nuts are rich in selenium with just one nut, just one, containing 96 mcg, or 175% of the recommended daily intake. Most other nuts provide less than 1 on average. Additionally, they have higher concentrations of magnesium, copper, and zinc than most other nuts. And of course, zinc is really popular right now for avoiding things like COVID, or certainly recovering much quicker. Although the exact amount of these nuts can vary depending on climate and soil. So yeah, depending on the quality, it will influence all of the other factors. Finally, Brazil nuts are an excellent source of healthy fats. In fact, 36% of the fats, let's hear this again, 36% of the fats in Brazil nuts are 37% polyunsaturated fatty acids, which is a type that has been shown to benefit heart health. So again, just one of those healthy fats for the heart. I'm going to skip the summary because I'm hoping if you want, you'll read this yourself. But since I'm going to do the whole article, I'm going to move on. Number 2, rich in selenium. Brazil nuts are a rich source of selenium, which is a hyperlink. You can look it up. In fact, they contain more of this mineral than any other nut, with an average of 96 mcg per nut. However, some pack as much as 400 mcg per nut. And again, it just said that many nuts have less than 1 mcg. And again, going from 96 to 400 is based on the soil and climate. The RDI for selenium is 55 mcg per day for adults. Thus, the average Brazil nut contains 175% of the required amount of this mineral. Selenium is a trace element that is vital for proper functioning of your body. It's essential for your thyroid and influences your immune system and cell growth. Hyperlink on cell growth, so important. Indeed, higher levels of selenium have been linked to enhanced immune function and better outcomes for cancer, infections, infertility, pregnancy, heart disease, and mood disorders. Most of those apply to me. If not active at this time, it's been my truth. Although selenium deficiency is rare, many people around the world have insufficient selenium intake for optimal functioning. For example, suboptimal selenium status has been found in people throughout Europe, the United Kingdom, and the Middle East. Brazil nuts are a highly effective way to maintain or increase your selenium intake. In fact, one study in 60 people found that eating 2 Brazil nuts per day was as effective as taking a selenium supplement at raising selenium levels. And remember, getting it from the food authentically far exceeds any supplement. I love that. Number 3, it supports thyroid function. So important. Your thyroid is a small butterfly-shaped gland that lies in your throat. It secretes several hormones that are essential for growth, metabolism, and body temperature regulation. Thyroid tissue has the highest concentration of selenium, as it's required for the production of the thyroid hormone T3, as well as proteins that protect your thyroid from damage. Low selenium intake can lead to cellular damage, reduced thyroid activity, and autoimmune disorders like Hashimoto's thyroiditis and Graves' disease. Let's read that again. Low selenium intake can lead to cellular damage, reduced thyroid activity, and autoimmune disorders like Hashimoto's thyroiditis and Graves' disease. Right? A terrible form of thyroid disease. It may also increase your risk of thyroid cancer. Jeez. My next talk, after I'm done with nuts, is going to have to be how to increase selenium. One large study in China showed that people with low selenium levels had a significantly higher prevalence of thyroid disease, such as hypothyroidism. Hypo is the slowing of the thyroid. Hyper is the speeding up. Thyroiditis and an enlarged thyroid compared to those with normal levels. This highlights the importance of getting adequate selenium intake. Just 1 Brazil nut per day should deliver enough selenium to maintain proper thyroid function. Number 4, may help those with thyroid disorders. As well as ensuring proper thyroid function, selenium may improve symptoms in people who have disorders of the thyroid. Hashimoto's thyroiditis is an autoimmune disorder in which the thyroid tissue is gradually destroyed. You can't really come back from things that are destroyed. Impaired, but destroyed, leading to hypothyroidism and a range of symptoms like fatigue, weight gain, and feeling cold. All true for me in the past. Though I am having another blood test coming up. I hope I didn't mess with my thyroid and gaining this weight. Several reviews have found the supplementing with selenium may improve immune function and mood in people with Hashimoto's thyroiditis. However, 2 other reviews concluded that there's not enough evidence to determine selenium's role in treating the disease. Therefore, further research is needed. Meanwhile, Graves' disease is a thyroid disorder in which too much thyroid hormone is produced, leading to symptoms like weight loss, weakness, sleeping problems, and bulging eyes. I think they call that TED, for short. Studies have shown that supplementing with selenium may improve thyroid function and delay the progression of some symptoms in people with this disease. However, more research is needed. No studies have investigated the use of Brazil nuts as a selenium source, specifically in people with thyroiditis or Graves' disease. Nevertheless, including them in your diet may be a good way to ensure that your selenium status is adequate. And often the reason those studies aren't done is because they're just too expensive. Like the little guy just can't compete against the major pharmaceutical corporations, right? Number 5, it may reduce inflammation. Brazil nuts are rich in antioxidants, which are substances that help keep your cells healthy. They do this by combating damage caused by reactive molecules called free radicals. Brazil nuts contain several antioxidants, including selenium, vitamin E, and phenols like gallic acid and iligic acid. Selenium increases levels of an enzyme known as glutathione peroxidase. Glutathione peroxidase, which is GPX, which helps reduce inflammation and protect your body from oxidative stress, an imbalance between oxidants and free radicals that can lead to cellular damage. The anti-inflammatory effects of Brazil nuts can be achieved from single, large doses and small doses over a long period of time. The anti-inflammatory effects of Brazil nuts can be achieved from single, large doses, and small doses over a period of time. I'm just bringing that, like saying it twice, because I just wanted to imply that 1 Brazil nut can make all the difference, let alone using it therapeutically. One study in 10 people, that's a very small study, but it's still of interest, noted that 20 or 50 gram servings, meaning 4 to 10 nuts respectively, significantly reduced a number of inflammatory markers, including interleukin-6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha. Another 3-month study gave people undergoing treatment of kidney failure. Hi, look that up, how I healed from kidney failure. Like, this is my story. Undergoing treatment from kidney failure, 1 Brazil nut per day. It found that their selenium and GPX levels had increased, while their levels of inflammatory markers and cholesterol had significantly decreased. Wow, this is powerful. However, follow-up studies observed that once people stopped eating Brazil nuts, these measurements returned to their original level. This demonstrates that long-term dietary changes are needed to reap the benefits of Brazil nuts. That's often the case, right? Number 6 is good for your heart. Brazil nuts contain heart-healthy fatty acids such as polyunsaturated fats, a hyperlink, and are rich in antioxidant minerals and fiber, all of which may help lower your risk of heart disease. One study in 10 healthy adults investigated the effects of eating Brazil nuts on cholesterol levels. It gave them either 5, 20, or 50 grams of Brazil nuts or a placebo. After 9 hours, The group that received a 20 to 50 milligram serving had lowered levels of LDL cholesterol in 9 hours and raised their levels of HDL cholesterol compared to groups that received the lower doses. I am in serious need of raising my HDL. I'm very interested in this. I know you can't go too extreme on anything because it's super important to rotate the fats and stuff, but I can certainly choose these nuts. Another study analyzed the effects of eating Brazil nuts in obese people with selenium deficiency who were undergoing treatment for kidney disease. Isn't that my whole story, you guys? From the thyroid to the kidney disease to the obesity. Like, yeah, I'm in progress, but that was all true for me for years. It found that eating Brazil nuts containing 290 mcg of selenium daily for 8 weeks significantly increased the HDL cholesterol levels. Improving your HDL cholesterol levels may decrease your risk of heart disease. Furthermore, a 16-week study in obese teenagers observed that eating 15 to 25 grams of Brazil nuts a day, so again, just less than an ounce, improved blood vessel function and reduced LDL cholesterol and triglyceride levels. Brazil nut effects on heart health are promising. Nevertheless, further research is needed, as per usual. Number 7, it may be good for your brain. Brazil nuts, they always have to say maybe because, again, they don't have the money to back up the research. They're just getting this from civilians who are saying, worked for me. And I'm just a civilian, and I've told you so many things these last couple of years that have worked for me, right? Brazil nuts contain oleic acid and selenium, both of which benefit the brain. Oleic acid, and forgive me if I'm saying that wrong, is a type of polyphenol in Brazil nuts. It has both antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties that may have protective and antidepressant effects on the brain. Again, like my manic depression, like what? I mean, all of these things tied in. I really need to investigate selenium. Selenium may also play a role in brain health by acting as an antioxidant. In one study, older adults with mental impairment ate 1 Brazil nut per day for 6 months. In addition to experiencing increased selenium levels, they showed improved verbal fluency and mental function. Is this a so yes? Low selenium levels are associated with neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, so ensuring adequate intake is important. And again, you can do a selenium supplement, but getting it from the food itself is always best. What's more, some research suggests that supplementing with selenium may help mediate a poor mood, which is significantly associated with inadequate selenium intake. However, results are conflicting and further research is needed. All right. Now here's the risk. I highly doubt someone's going to be affected by 1 Brazil nut. But here's the risk. Brazil nuts offer some impressive health benefits, but eating too many could be harmful. This is the risk. Like when someone tells you, oh my gosh, you can fix this and this and this and this, people go for broke and it turns on them. Moderation, right? Okay. In fact, an intake of 5,000 mcg of selenium. Now remember, just one Brazil nut is 175. It's going to take a while to get to 5,000, but let's think about that. 175 is almost 200. 200 is times 5 is 1,000. So you're talking about 30 or less Brazil nuts. In fact, an intake of 5,000 mcg of selenium, which is the amount in approximately, it says 50 average size Brazil nuts, can lead to toxicity. You think? The dangerous condition is known as senolysis and can cause breathing problems, heart attack, and kidney failure. So yeah, again, when people think they're going to find the golden egg under the goose, it turns on them, right? Furthermore, too much selenium, particularly from supplements are hard to measure, whereas food is concrete, has been linked to an increased risk of diabetes and prostate cancer. Just my luck. I'm going to grow a prostate. I couldn't resist. However, communities in the Amazon with traditional diets that are naturally high in selenium have not shown any negative effects or signs of selenium toxicity. You know why though, right? Because they eat so correctly otherwise. Nonetheless, it's important to limit your daily intake of Brazil nuts. The upper level of selenium intake for adults is 400 mcg per day. For this reason, it's important to not eat too many Brazil nuts and to check nutrition labels for selenium content in general. Limiting your intake to 1 to 3 Brazil nuts per day is a smart way to avoid consuming too much selenium. 1, 2, 3 people. Let's all say that out loud. 1 to 3 Brazil nuts a day. Additionally, those with nut allergies may be allergic to Brazil nuts. Bottom line, for a bottom line girl, Brazil nuts are nutritional powerhouses providing healthy fats, antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. They're particularly high in selenium, a mineral with potent antioxidant properties. Eating Brazil nuts may reduce inflammation, support brain function, and improve your thyroid function and heart health. To avoid consuming too much selenium, limit your intake to 1 to 3 Brazil nuts per day. Fabulous. I'm so happy we learned about that. That was fantastic. All right, my friends. Like if you like, join us if you haven't. Subscribe. Let me know in the comments below how I may support you. What did you think of this talk? I think it's fabulous. And until we talk again, best of all, know that you can heal your life through food, and therefore, you're blessed.